It's a grand affair, as you can see, with our clowns and our mannequins, music. I'm going to just give you a short little blurb on what it is I do on campus. And to save you from me going off in the wrong direction, I'm going to read probably a lot of it. So, hence the glasses. So you may be asking, why the mannequins? And we're glad you're asking. First, to grab your attention. Secondly, and more importantly, we ask you to imagine that these mannequins represent you. And we're hoping that you will question or ask the questions, where do you stand in the big or small picture? We live in a marvelous land of abundance. I know you probably will all agree with that. And as our mountains stand over us, the oceans and rainforests wrap our cities. I'm influenced daily by the landscape and see this subject having endless possibilities for the artist. Nature has a way of reaching into the very depths of our soul, and it simultaneously grounds us, but at the same time, it sends that imagination into the outer limits. There is such a connection between landscape and everyday life. Nature and her scapes, land, sea, and sky, shape our everyday lives and connect us to the very core of our existence. And so, the work that I'm presenting for this show this evening reflects my impressions of my natural surroundings and my relationship with the landscape. I filter my memories of the visible world, layered with my imagination to portray my landscapes and the impact of the perpetual seasons. I speak boldly and use drama to impart my message on large canvases to allow the viewer to step into the landscape I have created. Materiality changes the mood or concept with its resulting texture and color. My series Sandwich Trees depicts the uniformity, and they're hanging over on this wall here, and order inherent in nature. Controlled brushstrokes, solid colors are behaving very nicely in their respective spaces and their relationship with each other. Synchronous, transparent glazes laid on with the large trowels bring about a different concept in the Vivaldi's Autumn. They're grand names, but that's how I feel. The painting depicts the impact of seasons on the landscapes. Emerging transparencies reveal impressions of time, weather, and the processes of life and death, all heaped onto each other. At times, these layers form their own image, even on a subconscious level. My mark making, using sharp trowel edges, brings about motion. The circular direction in fall into winter, right here, suggests the perpetual seasons that influence our landscapes. And the direction of the mark making in rejuvenation suggests growth and propels the eye upwards. Blurred edges define ambiguity. As you see in Solitude, this is a scene of a horse eking out its existence in the bleak winter months. It is uncertain what lies beyond the field, what lies beneath the blanket of snow, or what will happen, what will the next day bring. Is it dawn or is it dusk? The outcome is uncertain, and it leaves the viewer to add to the story. Color plays a large role in my paintings. The Sandwich Trees is an explosion of color. As the pink of the bud is poised to burst into spring, lush green shoots onto the sea. The waving limbs of the evergreens herald the parade as they provide a grand backdrop for the newcomers. Wolf Kahn is a master of color, and I'm greatly inspired by his use, and I encourage you, if any of your painters, look him up. He's a fabulous painter, and he knows his colors. Great influence. My autumn paintings are equally as vibrant, as I see this time of year to be particularly impressive with energy and reflection. Vivaldi's Autumn celebrates a bountiful past summer season as winter waits in the wings. Is it a last gush of energy before the cold sets in? Although winter can be a time for bleakness, I imagine in rejuvenation a mounting regenerative energy brewing in the depths of the earth, awaiting its spring. So I celebrate this vitality with rich color. The settling down in the use of somber hues and solitude and illusions creates a scene of stillness, like being seated in the waiting room. Strength and patience to go through the weight of winter tempers one for the renewal. I hope this gives you a little insight into my work, and if you have any questions, I welcome those. I'd like to let you know that on Saturday I'm gladly taking part in the what do you call it? Mall Street Painting, which happens on Saturday, and I'm booth number 1, 2, 3. So it's not just me. There are about 150 artists, so it's a tremendous opportunity for you to see other local artists. And in August, I will be artist in residence at the Laurel Point Inn, and a fabulous venue with huge walls to display artwork for any artist. So I will be there for the month of August, and if you, friends, family, come and join me, I would love it. So thanks again. I enjoyed it.
Thank you everyone for joining us to help celebrate our retrospective art. This represents over 3 years of various artwork. And I'd like to thank Shelby for including me and her mannequins. Somewhere in town, could be this very night, there are heads being displayed on art show. So one quote I really like is Picasso, who said, "Every child is an artist. The problem is, as an adult, to remain an artist." And I feel I have been a lifelong artist, and that's because I just like playing around. Now that I'm more mature, I keep my playing around to paint, my garden, and my wonderful husband. So I really like to experiment. As you can see, my canvas is behind you, vary greatly, but I have done different series. Some of them, like this one at this end wall, represents a whole cityscape series I did. And then a few of the other ones also have the theme of cityscape. But more importantly to me is the type of exploration with art. So you can see dripping, where I use all kinds of acrylic medium to get this kind of fluidity to the paint. And I splatter paint, as you can see on these, and sometimes wait for it to dry and tissue it off. Or I try different kind of grounds, like this one called Underwater World. It's got a ground underneath it to give it that misty look. And I keep attempting to get more textures, all kinds of textures, such as this joculaire. This large one has various kinds of acrylic textures, pumice and different things that I add to the paint to give it a texture. And you're allowed to go and touch these things, throw them if you want. Play around too. That's my basic theme, that if you can dream and think it, you can do it. So excellent. That's great. Thank you. Let's give them a hand. Now we're going to have 3 other musicians, 4 musicians, and then afterwards Mac and Chris will play again. I would just like to draw your attention to the clowns, though. I think it's so thrilling that we have 4 clowns. I encourage you to get your photos with the mannequins and the clowns. Great, thanks.
piss yellow sky. Orange pill sun, smoke clouds, snowing ash. The island under siege as wildfires riot. No bird song. Cue to T.S. Eliot's first 3 lines of his poem, The Love Song of Jay off the Proof Rock. Let us go then, you and I, when the sky is spread out against the sky like a patient etherized upon table.